Hi everyone, I'm Mike Donovan with Edge Lighting, and this is Mike's Monthly Minute for the month of April. Now, gotten a couple complaints in the past that Mike's Monthly Minute is actually a little bit longer than a minute. So for this month and this month only, we're going to call it Mike's 4-minute and 58-second monthly what? Stupid idea? Okay, let's just stick with Mike's Monthly Minute. At Edge Lighting, we've always said form follows function. What does that mean? Well, essentially what it means is that when we're designing and creating a new light fixture, we want to make sure first and foremost that it is technically perfect. Does it function properly as a light fixture? But that doesn't mean that we ignore the aesthetic. We try to combine those two to give you a technically perfect fixture that is designed beautifully. Now, for the month of April, we're going to talk about our new pendant offering. And you've seen a lot of fixtures, a lot of pendants out there that are made of blown glass. And, you know, we dabble in that also. We do have some of those type of fixtures. But we also wanted to explore some new ideas, some unique concepts. Basically, we wanted to look at what the architectural community is using and sort of blend that together with our light fixtures. So, you know, we have some fixtures that get into some pressed glass. We use some crushed glass in our fixtures. And we actually dabble in some new metal materials that are really cool. Now, I'm not going to go through every one of our pendants. But I did want to pull out a couple that I think are really unique to our line. Now, the first one is called the Everest fixture, which is a really elegant glass cone fixture. And on the inside of that, we have our ice fixture, which is kind of looks like rock candy. And when you combine these two, it creates this really cool, unique fixture. Now, the Everest comes with two different type of shades. One is a clear glass and one is a platinum. I think the platinum is beautiful. The next fixture I wanted to talk about is called the Tower of Shattered Love. Now, I know, kind of a silly name, but you know what? We did it for a reason. These fixtures are cone-shaped and actually sort of combine some crushed glass on the outside. They come in 5 different colors. But what's really cool about it is when you illuminate these fixtures, that shattered crushed glass that's on there create this really cool mosaic. So at different levels, you can see different kind of views of these fixtures, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful fixture. The next one I wanted to talk about is called the Outlaw. Now, the Outlaw is this little simple pendant fixture that looks like an A lamp, but inside of it there's a halogen bipin. Now, think about the name of that. The A lamp's been outlawed. That's why we call it the Outlaw. I named that fixture, so I always like to point that out. Now, the Outlaw also comes in a configuration where it's on its side, and that's called the Z lamp. A lamp, Z lamp. We have a lot of fun naming our fixtures. The last one I really want to talk about is right behind me here. It's called the Mata Hari. Now, for any of you history buffs out there, and you know the history behind Mata Hari, well, you're one step ahead of me because I know nothing about that, but I can tell you all about the fixture. Now, the Mata Hari uses this fabric metal shade here. You can see it's a really nice look. It has an MR16 coming out, so you get your functional light on the table, but on the outside you get this sort of interesting glow from these different colors of fabric that we offer with the Mata Hari. Now, those are the ones I wanted to point out to you. Now, all of these fixtures can be used on our jack system, where you can just plug it in and use it as a mono point, or you can use it on our Monorail system. Now, to kind of go through some of those things on our Monorail system that make it really unique to Edge Lighting, one of them is this. This is our 300-watt surface-mounted transformer. And on those occasions where you only want to use a surface-mounted transformer, or you only can use a surface-mounted transformer, this gives you an interesting option. In the past, you always had to drop it down about 4 to 6 inches. But if you didn't want to do that, you didn't really have any options out there. Well, now you do. What you can do is this. You plug it into the side of our fixture, and now you're still just 1 inch off the ceiling. That's a really interesting piece. The other unique thing that we did was this. Now, we can offer our monorail where you can put it in a toolless construction. Put this together, you don't have that gap that used to be there, and you don't have the Allen screws that the electricians always used to drop, and it gives you this seamless, beautiful look, especially when you're using on a corner where you wanted to put the corners together, and in the past you always had a gap on one side and a gap on this side. Well, now look at that seamless, beautiful look that you get on these corners. Now our rail, all of it is hand bendable and it's all field cuttable. Well, that's it for Mike's Monthly Minute. If you want to see any of these new fixtures, go to our website, edgelighting.com, look under products, and all the fixtures that are new will say new in a little red letter. If you have any questions or you have anything you want to contact us, please feel free to give us a call. And that's Mike's Monthly Minute for the month of April. Thanks for watching.